client I harmed, said, "Women in burqas are terrorists," while I trimmed the back of his head with straight scissors. Slapped by his words, I flinched. I never meant to jab the crease where ear meets skull and draw blood, but I did. Now I regret not severing the entire ear. Timothy Miller, my father and namesake, worked in the same Main Street barbershop almost his entire life. Yet when I assumed his profession, it became a passport to travel. I sailed the globe working in salons on massive cruise ships, then freelanced, cutting hair everywhere from Pitt Street Mall in Sydney, Australia, to a rustic beach in the Philippines. A power supply and a chair facing a mirror are all I need to thrive. I'll never starve as long as I own a pair of scissors. I came home in 2017 and married Alam, the smartest and funniest woman I ever met. She's been a close friend since elementary school, where she was the first Muslim to enroll. In second grade, our teacher made Alam stand before the class to explain her headscarf. Singled out, newly aware of her otherness, she wondered why the teacher never made Ricky Olsen defend wearing Spider-Man t-shirts every day. After university, Alam married a Turkish man and lived abroad, but divorced him within 5 years. He didn't know how to laugh, she told me after we reconnected. For her second exchange of vows, her parents were less determined that she marry within the faith. Now, 34, Alam does the occasional gig as a stand-up comedian. She also freelances as a journalist, editor, and graphic designer. She has complete freedom and requires only a stage or internet connection to contribute to society. I'd never heard the word Islamophobia until autumn of 2001. Since our wedding, I notice it every day. Someone is always spewing negative opinions about immigration or religious head coverings. It's hard to blame them because television programs, newspapers and magazines, even government officials stir anti-Islamic sentiment with impunity. Meanwhile, few public figures condemn hate groups, except Hollywood celebrities during award season and late-night talk show hosts. Dialogue and information are nobler ways of confronting bigotry, but I'm driven to violent rage when Alam describes incidents of white male strangers shouting obscenities from across the street, or knocking her down and stealing her headscarf, or sending graphic rape fantasies via her business website. Only a week after puncturing the first fellow, who was placated with an apology, first aid, and a free haircut, a prominent businessman sat in my chair, suggesting non-white immigrants complete a mandatory national values test before being allowed in the country. Otherwise, they might hold Sharia law above the Constitution. Shaving his delicate throat, I held a straight razor and stood behind his vulnerable, reclining form. I didn't mean to cut him, but how could his comment not stagger me? I jolted in alarm, then watched bright red blood seep through white shaving foam. Throughout my career, only one slip, hiccup, or twitch separated me from ruin, but this felt liberating, even though the slice wasn't deep and failed to cure racism. The wounded man left with everything my previous victim received, plus a bonus coupon. My boss interrogated me. "Are you getting enough sleep? Is there trouble at home? Have you been drinking?" I assured her everything was fine. "I hope so, Tim. This can't continue." 2 days later, when another client ranted about the Islamic threat and their culture of terror, rape, and pedophilia, standing up to hate and defending a faith based on peace and surrender became more important than any job. In hindsight, I should have prayed for his misguided soul and mentioned my incredible wife and the warm-hearted community who welcomed me. But it felt better to slice a fat hairy mole off the back of his neck and claim it was an accident. My boss gave him free haircuts for a year, and me a formal reprimand. Walking home, I cursed myself for becoming more barbaric than my enemy. I confessed to my wife, who steered me toward love and harmony. But the following morning, I faced another test. "I can't believe how many towel-headed women I see at bus stops," said another client, a young police officer. "They look like criminals. What are they hiding? I want to strip away their veils and teach them how we do things in this country." Scissors poised above his head, I wondered how many racist clients I could cut before getting fired. 4. The answer was 4. But every hair grows, and there are millions of barbershops in this world. The end.